Hi everyone, it's Joanne here at Apple Tree Studio, and I have just finished filming the most wonderful tutorial for my patrons, and it is this funky fun cockerel. And there are so many techniques that I'm sharing when painting this tutorial, and obviously that is for my patrons. But I thought what would be lovely is to just have a little warm-up, and that's what I'm sharing with you guys as well. And it's a super cute little warm-up. In fact, it's perfect for Easter because we're going to be painting a lovely little hen and a chick. It's so cute. And the techniques that I'm using for this tutorial are similar to the ones that I use for the Patreon tutorial, but obviously that's far more in depth. So if you fancy having a go at that, then please do take a look at my Patreon channel. So yeah, so nice and simple techniques, limited palette. I'm going to talk you through from start to finish, and I hope that you enjoy painting it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. If you're enjoying these tutorials, then please do subscribe to my channel. That would be fantastic. And you can catch all the information from my Patreon channel to my single purchase tutorials on my website at artbyboon.co.uk. Okay, go grab your brushes and let's paint together. So I've just finished filming this very cocky looking cockerel. He looks like he's got a bit of attitude, doesn't he? And I want to share with you a warm-up really. I thought we've done this, it would be nice to share a warm-up with you before you get started on this tutorial, because this tutorial starts life in a very, very loose way. And the details that have been added, I do go through more extensively in the tutorial, and there are other techniques involved in that as well. But I wanted you to have a little warm-up really. So I'm going to move that. In fact, I'm going to move that off the table altogether because I know I will splash it. So what I thought was we'll do a little warm-up. And here, I've just finished drawing this actually. I've got a little chicken here and a tiny little baby chick here. And I think it's important that you see the drawing as well, because it's a very loose drawing. There's not much detail at all. I've used a 3B pencil and it's a piece of Saunders Waterford. I've got a big jug of clean water as always. I've always got my spray bottle with me. I've got a size 8 brush, coffee, well-deserved coffee, and I'm going to be using 3 colours. And I'm going for the Sodernite Genuine, the Quinacriden Gold, and the Cadmium Red Scarlet, and I've put those colours down here. Of course, you can change those colours. You do not have to use the same colours as me. And actually, I'd encourage you to do that, to experiment a little bit as well. Have a play around with what you can achieve. So, let's just be brave. That's what this is about, is being brave and letting colours do their own thing. So, let's start by putting some of the yellow into the body. And I'm going to keep these washes nice and light, so I'm not going to be too heavy with them. Pop a little bit into that section, and we'll bring a few bits down into the wing, down the leg. And have you noticed something as well? I'm not staying within the lines. I find it physically impossible to do that really. I'm going to give it a little splatter as well. So we've got that in, and now we want to put some red in, and the natural instinct is to kind of let this dry before we do that, but we're not going to do that. We're going to be brave, and we're going to take the red. Let's make it easier on ourselves, and let's turn our picture this way. So if I now pop in some of that red here, there's a chance it's going to run. I'm going to put a bit here as well to this section. And you can see it's starting to run. I mean, but that's okay. Let's add a bit of water and pull that down a bit. In fact, let's kind of encourage a little bit of run as well. Look, just let it kind of blend down. There we go. Let's make those a bit taller. So now we've got the head in, haven't we? I'm going to lose those 2 white bits as well. I don't really think we need them. Now, if you want to just tidy up, you can take a thirsty brush and you can lift a bit of paint away. I mean, it really does depend on the paper that you're using as well. Saunders Waterford tends to lift quite easily. Today it's making a liar of me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's lifted away a little bit. So while this is still wet, let's add another dimension. Let's come in with the dark colour. Sodernite Genuine. And let's just use our brush to make shapes. So I'm going to come in and out of these shapes because I want the yellow to kind of blend into that. Let's go under that wing shape as well. And then here, I'm going to just push my brush into the paper. Let's have another one now, look. So I've got some pencil lines down, but I'm not exactly following them to the letter. They're just a guide. Let's pull some lovely shapes out here as well, and maybe bring that dark colour down into the body. It's looking rather splendid already, and we've not even done much, have we really? Let's just tidy up a little bit here, make it look as though we've got some nice feather shapes. Got a bit of a hard edge here, so I'm just going to allow a bit of water to run into that. Let's carry on. It's still nice and wet. Let's take the red and let's pull that down into the leg section. And of course the colour that is above it, it's automatically going to run into that. As long as your water's nice and clean, you'll still get nice clean washes. Let's take our yellow again and let's put this little chick, the baby chick, into our picture. There we go. Nice bit of yellow body there, and a little bit of red down for the legs. And you can see I'm just basically drawing with my brush, putting in little sections. There we go. So now is the time to, oh, I forgot one thing, by the way. I wanted to just lose the white onto that beak and just put a bit of yellow there. I'm going to do just a tad more splatter. And then I'm going to let this dry. But before I let it dry, I'm going to give it a little spritz. There we go. So let's come back to it when it's nice and dry. So once you're nice and dry, you can just add a few little details, and that's all I intend to do with this one. Obviously, the Patreon tutorial takes things a lot further, but this is how the initial washes should be. Nice and loose and spontaneous, resisting the urge to kind of fiddle with them and let them do their own thing, really. So let me just show you how we can just bring this to life with just a little bit of effort. So we'll put an eye in first, so I'll use the dark blue. Just test that, yeah. And I'm going to leave a little highlight, so I'm just going to come in a little circle shape like that. And there's the eye. I'm also going to use the black while I've got it on my brush now, just to pick out a few details. So what about putting a bit of a dark underneath the wing, for instance? So I can put a linear mark, I can soften it down, and that just creates that lovely bit of detail, a bit more, but not saying too much. Let's pick out a few shapes. Let's pick out a few of the yellow shapes that are coming down here. So I'm just going to put some nice little darker marks into that section. Again, I'll just soften away with my brush. We've got these lovely tail feathers, haven't we? Let's make some a little bit darker than others. So let's give that a bit of a darker edge. And oof. Let's come in here perhaps and create some darker shapes. Coming up through and into that tail area. So just a few little suggestions like that. And that really does help to pull things together, doesn't it? I'm just going to put a bit of dark here, I think, just to darken underneath the breast. I can also come in with other colours, you know. I can come in with a bit of red and let that blend into that shape. Let's do a little bit of work on the legs. So I'm going to take the dark again, the dark blue, and just put a little bit of dark down one side and maybe just some little highlights underneath. Just to sit that bird on the ground, really. Let's do the other one. So I'm using that dark colour, making it a little bit dark at the top with some darks underneath. Softening away. This is what painting's all about with watercolour, isn't it? Just being spontaneous. And already our hen's looking very cheeky. Let's just put a little line here for underneath the beak. And I think we're nearly done. Let's darken our little chick a little bit as well. So we'll put a little bit of the red just underneath the body there, look. Soften that away so it blends into that yellow. Tiny little dot for an eye and maybe just a hint of shadow colour underneath the legs. And at that point, I'm going to put my brush down because it is a warm-up and it's a lot of fun. I mean, have a go at drawing out different shape birds and allowing colours to flow together, then letting them dry and just picking out a few details. Obviously, the next tutorial, the one that I've just filmed, goes into a lot more depth than this. But yes, it's fun, and again, that's what watercolour should be about. It should be about having some fun. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.